The earth screamed. A black and tan German Shepherd puppy named Tremor is wedged in a fresh crack along the San Andreas foothills outside Palmdale, California. And daylight is pouring straight onto his shaking ribs. Dust jumps like static off the ground. A second tremor shivers through the dirt, and I feel it in my teeth before I hear it. I've seen a lot of strange things volunteering out here, but nothing prepares you for a sound like that. Soft, breaking, desperate. The voice of a small dog trying not to disappear. I don't yell. I lower my breath until it matches his German Shepherd puppy. 5 months, if that. Paws scraped raw with clay and grit. Nose powdered white. Eyes locked up at the sky like it might throw him a rope. He isn't a prop in a disaster. He's the whole story. The heartbeat under the dust. I'm Jack Marino, 47, and my hands know rope and wedges better than prayers. But right now I'm praying to hold still. Sunlight hits the fracture line like a blade. Tremor's ears flick once, then flatten as a ripple passes under us. He whimpers, not loud, not dramatic. The kind of sound that turns a grown man quieter than church. Easy, little shepherd, I say. And my voice comes out lower than I meant. The young dog is wedged tight at the hips, one hind leg pinned between teeth of sandstone. He tries to shift and the whole fault answers back, a dry, angry groan. I taste metal. I slide on my belly, knees dragging, keeping my shadow off his face because the brave pup keeps choosing the light. A hawk cuts across the noon sky and Tremor's eyes follow it as if flight could be borrowed. He's not just a German Shepherd puppy to me in this moment. He's a promise the ground is trying to swallow. I place my palm on the rock beside his chest so he can feel the rhythm. In, out, in, out. His breathing hitch steps to match mine. A tiny surrender that feels like trust. I talk to him like he's the only one here because he is. Hold. We're going to do this slow. The wind lifts the dust and lays it back down, and the world narrows to paw pads, pebbles, and the thin ribbon of air between us. Somewhere behind me, a distant siren climbs the road. But that's background. Foreground is Tremor, the stranded pup, the rescued puppy he's fighting to become. My rope bag thumps the dirt. My wedges click against each other. I slide the coil forward, fingers steady, everything quiet enough that I can hear his tiny nails tap the stone. I lean over the edge, find him in the shadow, and there it is, the flash that pins me to the moment. The German Shepherd puppy looks up, and the sky is caught inside his eyes, bright and shaking. The ground is still breathing. Every few seconds, it exhales through the crack. Hot air carrying the smell of dust and metal. I lie flat, my cheek pressed to the dirt, feeling its pulse hammer against my skin. It's not over. The quake hasn't decided if it's done with us yet. Tremor's little body trembles in rhythm with the earth. He claws at the rock, scraping his pads bloody raw, trying to stand where there's no space to stand. His chest rises fast. Too fast, panic in motion. The sunlight above him is bright but unreachable, and his reflection in the stone looks like he's fading. I move inch by inch, the rope dragging behind me. My gloves catch on shards of shale. Hey, buddy, I whisper, slow and steady, like the air itself could spook him. Stay with me. I'm right here. He blinks once, ears twitching at the sound of my voice, that deep rumble that dogs trust before they understand words. The ground shivers again, a short, mean jolt. My ribs knock the edge of the crack and I hold my breath until the vibration dies. A small whine slips from him, muffled by dirt. That sound slices right through everything else, through the sirens far away, through my heartbeat. There's a line you cross when you choose to reach for something still fighting. After that, you can't stop. I slide closer, arm extended, dust filling my throat. The heat coming from that fissure feels alive, like standing over an open furnace. I can taste the mineral in the air, the bitter breath of broken stone. Easy, little pup, I say. You're tougher than this ground. He blinks again. Slower now, his breathing catching the rhythm of my words. He's listening. He's believing just enough to wait one more minute. My helmet slips, scrapes the dirt, and falls beside me, rolling down toward the gap. The clang echoes through the fault like thunder under glass. The pup flinches, a strangled yelp caught in his throat, and then from somewhere below, the earth answers back with a new distant growl. Silence can roar louder than collapse. When the ground finally stopped trembling, it left a kind of hum behind. The kind only your ribs can hear. I crawled back to the truck for gear. Dust thick in my mouth. Palms shaking, though I kept telling them not to. Rope, wedges, carabiners, old tools, same ghosts. The metal clink was the first clean sound after the quake, sharp enough to make the world feel solid again. Wind rolled over the cracked soil, whispering through broken sage. No birds, no engines, just the fault line breathing slow. I've worked enough construction sites to know the taste of dirt when it's about to swallow something. Once years ago, a shift took my crew partner down. Swallowed whole between slabs that never closed. Same dry smell, same heat coming off the stone. Different life now. But the ground, it still speaks the same language. I glance back toward the fissure. The little pup's still there, chest heaving, ears twitching at the sound of my boots. He's watching me like I'm part of the quake, deciding if I'll hurt him or help. Eyes wet but focused, not giving up, just waiting for proof that the world hasn't. Hang on, buddy, I mutter, looping the rope through my hands. Not leaving you here. My voice sounds steadier than it feels. He tilts his head, that small motion tearing a fresh crack in my chest. The air is hot enough to shimmer. I dig the first wedge deep into a stubborn vein of rock. Every strike echoes down the fault like a heartbeat. Mine, his, the earth's. For a moment, it all blends into one steady pulse. He shifts just a little, pause, scraping. A soft whine drifts up. Not fear now, more like a question. I give the rope a slow pull. Test the anchor. Watch the fibers tighten in the light. Then I throw the coil over the edge. The sounds slicing the silence clean in half and start my slow descent into the shadow where Tremor waits. The heat hits first. Dry, bitter. The kind that burns through gloves. Every inch down feels like crawling into the throat of the earth itself. I dig my knees into the rock, one slow breath at a time. Dust floats around me, not falling, just hanging there like the world forgot how to breathe. The rope hums against my harness. Below, Tremor shifts. A faint shuffle, claws against stone. Easy, kid, I murmur. More to the air than to him. The echo of my voice sounds older than I remember. When I finally reach him, he freezes, not from fear, just from hope that doesn't know what to do yet. His coat's turned gray with clay and grit. Only his eyes still alive, wide and trembling. I reach out slow, fingers touch his shoulder, feel the tremor running through muscle and bone. He jerks once, then stays. No growl, no teeth, just surrender. His fur is warm, too warm. He's been baking down here for hours. Tiny chest pumping in shallow rhythm, ribs straining under each inhale. I whisper his name. Tremor. You hear me, buddy? The pup's gaze flicks toward me, unfocused, but there's something human in it. That same look I've seen in men pulled from wrecks. The one that says, don't stop touching me. I'm still here. I trace the line of his hind leg and find it wedged tight between two slabs, skin pressed white, trembling. He tries to move, a whimper catching in his throat. Don't fight it, I say. I got you. We'll take it slow. The heat from the rock seeps through my sleeves, the kind that burns patience into your hands. I wedge my shoulder against the stone, testing the give. Nothing, it's locked. His breathing hitches again, sharp and wet. I can feel the earth shifting under us, small grains rolling down like sand through fingers. I press a hand to his chest, his heart hammering like trapped wings. Stay with me, little one. Then a sound. Low, guttural, like the planet clearing its throat. The ground moans under my knees. Somewhere inside the crack, a boulder shifts with a dry scream scraping against its twin. And for one impossible second, everything holds still. The rock is talking again. Not loud, just a dry crackle. The kind that makes your heartbeat skip to listen. I press the first wedge in slow, deliberate steel against stone. Each tap feels heavier than it should, like the fault itself is testing my right to be here. The rope slides over my forearm, rough and alive, whispering through grit. Come on, hold. I mutter, half to the metal, half to the ground. I brace a boot against the wall, twist the line, and anchor it tight. Every motion has weight. One slip and the whole thing folds. Me him, the thin hope hanging between a voice I haven't heard in years crawls up from memory. The old Sightforeman gravel tone. Cigarette breath, panic kills first, Marino breathe, or you bury. Yourself I exhale through my teeth, let it burn out of me below me. The pup jerks at the click of metal, his paws scrape. The rock trying to find invisible ground, I whisper, leaning close enough to feel his breath on my wrist. Out, kid, breathe with me, okay? For a second he does. Our rhythms find each other. In, out, in, out. The sound of air becomes the only thing left in this whole broken valley. He's watching me, those eyes wet with pain, still steady. I can feel his pulse through the stone. My hand stays on his shoulder, not to hold him still, just to say I'm not going anywhere. I pull the next wedge, drive it deeper than another. The fault line groans, old and tired, but it listens. The rope hums with tension. Tremor presses his muzzle against my forearm. A trembling touch that feels like permission, like trust. For a moment, all the noise of the quake fades into a single heartbeat that doesn't belong to either of us alone. Then a sound barely there, a shift low and dusty under my palm. The stone gives a fraction of an inch, a whisper of movement. Hope small, fragile, but alive. His paw is wedged deep, bone against stone. I slide my arm in up to the elbow, skin scraping on the rock. Every breath feels like it might bring the mountain down, but I keep moving. Easy, easy, little guy. The rope hums behind me with each pull, dust raining in slow motion. I can feel his heartbeat under my fingertips. Small, fast, desperate, the pulse of something refusing to give up. I push my hand deeper until my knuckles find the edge of the slab. The pup flinches, a dry whimper echoing in the tight air. Stay still, I whisper. Almost there. I wedge my fingers beneath the trapped limb and lift. It takes everything. Wrist shaking, shoulder burning. Then it happens. The rock shifts just enough. His leg slides free. Rough skin dragging across grit. No blood, only dirt and shallow scrapes. He blinks hard like he's surprised to still be whole. I press my palm against the tiny chest. A flutter, then a stronger beat. That rhythm. That's what keeps me here every damn time. The feeling of life fighting its way back through your hand. He tries to stand. Paws trembling under him, but his strength folds. He collapses against my sleeve, breathing hard, eyes glassy with exhaustion. Not yet, kid. You save that energy for sunlight. The air tastes like copper and chalk. I pull the sling from my belt, loop it gently under his belly, careful not to trap the bad leg. The rope cacks as I thread it through the anchor. Every sound magnified inside the fault like we're in the chest of something alive. All right, brave pup, I murmur, tying the last knot. You and me, one clean pull. He stirs, nose twitching, a faint whine leaking out, more a breath than a sound. I grip the rope, muscles tight, dust spilling off my jacket. Then I pull. The ground answers with a groan so deep it crawls through bone. The earth is speaking again, low, endless, and far too close. The growl comes from below, deep, ancient, like the earth remembering it still has a heartbeat. The rock trembles beneath my knees. Then the world breaks loose again. The fault line exhales dust in a violent gust, blinding white, swallowing every shape, every edge. The rope jerks. My footing vanishes. Instinct takes over. I throw myself over Tremor, my arms around him, holding tight, pressing him to the ground. As the quake roars through our bones, it's not noise. It's pressure. Pure and crushing. The kind that bends air into something solid. The kind that makes time lose count. Pebbles rain against my back. A fist-sized rock clips my shoulder. Another glances off my helmet. The ground bucks, stops, then bucks again. All I can do is hold him and wait. Seconds turn into minutes. I breathe against his fur. Dust, sweat, and heat. Whispering nonsense just to keep us both anchored. Easy, buddy. We're not done yet. Not like this. He trembles once, then stills. The shaking fades slow as a dying heartbeat. Silence seeps back in, thick and unreal. I don't move right away. Can't. I just keep my arm over him, feeling the tiny pulse through his ribs, alive, stubborn, steady. When I finally lift my head, the air is fogged with floating dirt. The sun filters through the haze and fractured light. He blinks up at me, dazed but focused, pupils wide as coins. That look hits me harder than the quake ever could. Hey, I rasp, throat raw. Still with me, huh? He tilts his muzzle against my chest, one paw twitching like answering yes. I manage a broken laugh that tastes like dust. Yeah, we made it, little guy, both of us. Somewhere above the ridge, a siren wails, faint, growing closer. I glance toward the sound, realizing something sharp and quiet at once. They're coming, but not for him. Not for us. I was first. The world above us feels impossibly far, a slit of white light slicing through the dust. I loop the rope once more, hands trembling but sure. All right, Tremor, I whisper, my voice shaking in the dry air. Let's go home. He doesn't fight, just watches me with those amber eyes. Soft, trusting, too calm for what he's been through. I pull the line slow, one breath at a time. The rope cuts into my palm, skin burning, sweat mixing with grit. Every inch we climb, I can hear the earth sigh behind us like it's letting us go reluctantly. The sun hits his fur first. Light catches the dust clinging to him, turns it gold for a heartbeat. He whines low, a sound caught between fear and relief. I keep hauling, boots slipping on loose gravel until my arms feel carved from stone. Then finally ground. My knees hit the edge of the fault and I drag him the rest of the way up, pressing him against my chest as if he might fall back into the crack that tried to swallow him. The light blinds us both. After hours inside that fractured world, the surface feels unreal. Sky too blue, wind too soft, silence too loud. The quake's echo still hums underfoot, but the valley around Palmdale stands still again as if pretending nothing ever happened. I set him down on the sand. He blinks up at the open sky, chest rising shallow and slow. Then he exhales long and trembling and sinks onto his side. His little chest expands once, twice. The sun paints his muzzle in warmth. He closes his eyes, not from pain, not from fear, but the way a tired soul finally lets itself rest. The wind moves through the sagebrush, gentle and weightless. For the first time since the ground split, I let myself breathe. Then I see it, his ear twitching, faint but alive. He's still here. He's limp in my arms, but breathing. That's all that matters. I wrap him in my jacket, the same one that's seen 20 years of work sites and storms. It smells like dust and oil, but right now it's warmth. It's shelter. The wind picks up across the plain, dragging ribbons of pale sand over the broken ridge. A low thrum builds in the distance. A helicopter sweeping toward the fault line. Rescue teams. Late, but not too late for someone else. I glance back once. The crack stretches across the earth like a scar too deep to ever close. Some part of me knows it'll still be here long after I'm gone. Silent proof that the ground can split open and still hold life inside it. I look down at the little pup, pressed against my chest. His breathing is shallow but steady, ribs fluttering like a trapped bird. "Hey," I whisper, brushing grit off his muzzle. "You and me, kid. We both crawled out of the fault today." He stirs, a faint flicker under the blanket of my coat, one paw pushing weakly against me. I carry him to the truck, step by careful step, like one bad move might break the spell that kept us alive. The engine coughs to life, old and reluctant, dust swirling behind the tires as we pull away from the edge of the world. The road to Palmdale feels endless. Every bump makes him twitch. Every breath I take feels borrowed. I keep one hand on the wheel, the other resting over the rise and fall of his chest. He's quiet. No whimper, no sound, just the faint vibration of life under my palm. The kind that says, "Don't stop now." The clinic sign appears through the haze, white letters flickering in the sun. I park crooked, jump out and cradle him close as I run for the door. Inside, it smells like antiseptic and fear. A tech looks up, eyes widening when she sees the bundle in my arms. "He's alive," I manage, my voice breaking halfway through. "Barely," she nods, reaching for him. But for a heartbeat, I don't let go. Because right there, beneath my calloused hand, his heart beats once, slow, steady, defiant. And I swear it feels stronger than before. The vet team moves fast, voices sharp, hands calm. Then the doors swing shut and he's gone from my arms. The silence hits harder than the quake. I sit on a plastic chair in the hallway, jacket still warm where he was. Everything smells like disinfectant and fear. A nurse passes by, clipboard in hand, says something I don't catch. My ears are still ringing, not from the noise but from the absence of it. After hours of chaos, stillness feels wrong, like the world forgot to breathe. I lean forward, elbows on my knees, stare at the floor tiles, each one perfectly aligned, solid. The kind of ground that doesn't break open without warning. And still I can feel the phantom shake under my boots. The sound of cracking rock, the weight of dust in my lungs. The look in those amber eyes, trapped in the dark. Waiting for a hand that might not come. Someone laughs down the hall. The wrong kind of sound in a place like this. I close my eyes. All I can see is rope sliding through my fingers, the tiny heartbeat I refuse to lose. The moment the ground went quiet and he was still there, still breathing, still fighting. Minutes stretched thin. I lose track of them. Count instead the distant beeps of machines behind the door. Each one lands like a pulse I can't touch. Then it happens. Muffled but clear. A voice calm and certain. He's going to make it. For a second I don't move. It's like my body doesn't believe my ears. Then something breaks loose inside me. Slow, hot, unstoppable. I exhale, long and shaky, and drop my head into my hands. Not crying, not exactly, just letting go. The tremor that runs through me isn't from the earth this time. It's from relief. From everything I held still long enough to save him. And for the first time since the fault opened, I let myself shake. Weeks slide by. The kind that blur together when you stop counting days. Tremor's stronger now. The bandage is gone, the limp fading into memory. He's still jumpy when a truck backfires. Still hides behind my leg when thunder rolls over Palmdale's hills. But every time he comes back out a little faster, he's growing into his paws, into his name. The first time I brought him to the shelter yard, he froze at the gate. Then slowly he took a step forward, my nose twitching at the smell of other dogs, the hum of people. Life happening again. The volunteers didn't know what he'd been through, and I didn't tell them. Some stories don't need retelling. You just let the dog write the next chapter with his own paws. I started working extra shifts at the rescue, mostly to be near him, to see how he'd greet each new sound, each stranger's hand. He'd flinch at first, then sniff, then wag. Cautious but brave. That's the thing about these little souls. They remember pain, but they don't worship it. They learn the shape of fear and then choose light. Anyway, we go back to the fault line sometimes. Not often. Just enough to remind us both where the story began. The city put up a small sign there after the rescue. Rescue point, Tremor. Simple letters on steel. People come by, leave treats, a flower now and then. I park the truck near the ridge and he hops down. Tail flicking like a flag in the dry wind. He walks ahead of me, steady and sure, stopping right at the edge of the fracture. The wind catches his fur ripples through the golden dust around his paws. He looks down into the same darkness that almost took him. Then he looks up at me, ears tilted, eyes calm, no shaking, no sound, just peace. It hits me then. He's not afraid anymore. He's standing where the world once broke and found his balance there. And for the first time I realized maybe I did too. Some people still call it the Quake Rescue. I never liked that name. It wasn't about disaster. Not really. It was about what happens after the shaking stops, about the silence between two heartbeats when you decide not to walk away. Tremor's bigger now, chest filling out, eyes steady like he's seen the inside of the earth and chose to trust it anyway. He walks beside me on the trail near the shelter. Every step measured, every breath in rhythm. Kids come to pet him. He leans into their hands, gentle, patient, alive. They see a brave pup who survived a fall. I see the reason I believe the ground can heal. Sometimes at dusk he lies in the dirt near my boots, toes twitching at the wind that still carries the faint smell of stone and heat. And I think the world didn't crack that day to destroy. It cracked so light could find a way through. You learn that when you rescue a dog like him, when you touch a heartbeat that shouldn't still be there. When you feel life press back into your hands, that's when you understand compassion isn't weakness. It's the rope that holds you steady above the fault. This little guy's journey from abandonment to rehabilitation shows how important nonprofit rescue groups really are. Caring for a rescued puppy is more than love. It's responsibility. It's pet care. If Tremor taught me anything, it's this. The earth will keep moving. Things will break, but if we hold on gently, stubbornly together, something new will stand where the fault once was. Join our The Animals 2.0 YouTube family.